Alright, I wanted to show you guys how I made this, which I can use to isolate a specific square on my grid so I'm not distracted by other things. You could also make one that fits your good papers size, but I'm gonna do this one that's small. So what you need is 4 post-it notes. I have super sticky ones here so that they'll re-stick multiple times. I have an Elmer's glue stick, and I have a pair of scissors in case I want to trim it down. So, and this still has its super sticky stuff here on the back, so it sticks down and sort of stays put where I need it to. You may find that you need to make a second one of these during the drawing if you used it a lot and it starts to become not sticky. So I'm going to, it doesn't matter which square I pick, but I'm going to take off one post-it note and I'm going to stick it on around one of the squares. I want to be able to see the lines around, so I'm sticking it so I can still see the lines around my square. The next one I'm going to stick so that it's on this one and doesn't extend far past it. So I'm going to stick it down like this. I don't have a whole bunch of length here. Okay, I want some extra overlap over my post-it notes so I have room to glue. And I'm just going to keep going around in a spirally type pattern with the line showing around the square that I want to keep. Okay, so this will be the last one. And I have it stuck down. And now I can take my glue stick. I'm going to be real careful that I don't go off of any of my post-it notes while I do this. And I'm only going to extend it just a little bit past the tip. So it's just a little bit of glue past here. So I'm going to pull back where this post-it note goes, and I'm going to carefully put some glue in the area where it would land on here, so it's not being held just by sticky note sticky. And I'm going to do that on all the parts that overlap. Be careful not to go off onto your image. You don't have to get it all the way to the edge. It's perfectly fine if it doesn't go all the way to the edge. And I'm going to let that set up for a moment and make sure everything's pressed down tight and really recap my Elmer's glue so it stays fresh. And now I'm going to pick this up using the first post-it note that I started with because it's the one on the bottom. Carefully. Now I can cut this shape down a little bit. I like to leave some post-it note where there's no sticky so that I don't, I have a place to grab it from. And I just cut off some of the extra sticky notes just so it's a manageable size and it's not using up a bunch of room. Okay, so now I have this and I could isolate just this one square, and I know that I'm working on C6. So then I can find C6 on here. Right, here's 6, and I have A, B, C, so this will be the square that I'm working on right here, right? And on here I can also make a mark of what halfway is. So I can use either another like piece of my post-it note scrap to see where things in my square land. I could also go diagonal with my extra piece, right? And that can help me break down that square into smaller bits, especially if it's a really complicated square like this one that has eye and glasses, an eyelid and eyebrow. All right. And this is a easy way to isolate the square you're working on. For some people who have a hard time paying close attention, you may also want to create a post-it note square around your box here where you're working. Sometimes I just do two sides of it so that I know that I'm working right here, and I could mark, you know, what one square's edge is, and I can put marks for halfway and things like that. You could use 4 more and make another one. I just find this cumbersome here, but doing it on here really helps me focus at what I'm looking at, okay? And that should help you guys a little bit for those of you who are, definitely for those of you who are going to go square by square, but it's also great to use in very detailed squares so that you can get everything just right. I hope that helps.